Happy birthday, Mavis Kokrokoo Hagan of Republic Boafuf Microfinance. It's from your dear husband Eric Hagan and your children, and management of Kidsville International School, Dawenya. Welcome to the 4th floor. Welcome to old age. As a Chairman General, happy birthday to my lovely wife, my dear wife, Mrs. Jennifer of Kwesi of ARB Apex Bank Cocoa House. We're loving you this morning. Happy birthday, Mrs. Jennifer of Kwesi. From your dear husband Alex, and also your parents, sister Sandra, Vera, Portia, brother Denzel, the entire family, and from me to you as well. Much love, my dear. Lady Safwa in Kofodia. Happy birthday to you, Lady Safwa in Kofodia, from your darling friend Stella and Adjoan Nimo, all of Kofodia, to you, Lady Safwa. Have a beautiful day. Greg of Osunsia of Elite Stars Academy, that's in Wager. Happy birthday, Greg of Osunsia, from your mom Bridget and your dad Charles. To you, Mr. Stephen Kwame Afo, branch manager NIB Kofodia. Have a great celebration, Mr. Stephen Kwame Afo, branch manager of NIB Cove Town. It's from Dosia and Joy, sending you loads of joy this morning.
You wrote me off the gun, called me in. I may be down when you say I'm a man. Minim yam accidentally. Or can me women zero don't care. Or didn't I see I'm bound to win?
Because I'm a work in progress. Lieutenant Colonel Maxwell Komla Apo, CEO Engineer Training School. Good morning, sir. Have a happy birthday, Lieutenant Colonel Maxwell Komla Apo, CEO Engineer Training School Teshi. It's from darling wife Bridget, your children Michaela, Bright and Brian. We love you. As I was wishing my dear son Kofi Okran, Emmanuel Kofi Okran in Canada, happy birthday from Mrs. Joyce Tay Loco in Klagon, and the entire Tay Gablosu and Okran families home and abroad to you.
Or bread to my febin come or sushi rawan now she round. Me pepper and some inside no share. Watch and some we quad in him. Made them watch for no pumpy. Means I need muda.
And a very good morning to you, Captain Akosia Boama. Enjoy your day. Thank you for listening. Belated birthday wishes, Madame Letitia Okra. The 4th of December was your birthday 3 days ago. Belated wishes to you, Madame Letitia Okra. God bless you richly, from Madame Elizabeth Apenting, aka Mami Ajwa. David. Shouting out to you, Rory von Balmus. Happy birthday to you, Rory von Balmus. We love and cherish you. It's from the Balmus brothers to you, Rory. Have a good one. Whatever you do today, Niabi Biane, Niadi Bisi when it's Nebiano, in Siwi. That's my prayer for you. Amen. Colonel Francis Kaba Machimni so penyumi pa insiwi wate. Wishing Amanda Appiah of Kent University in the UK. Belated birthday wishes to Amanda Appiah of Kent University. It's from your mom, Mami Ama, your dad, Kokrokoo, Paulina Amakoto, Joel, and the rest of the family. And regards to Auntie Sechra Inosino from Master P in London. Osin Siwi. Anope Utiemia. Mempaya no. Omanumaishi, Kromaishi. In Siwi Wate. Wishing Tremating and Nina Kwa AKMP, Ebuaka North Education Office at Chimtafo. Happy birthday to Tremating and Nina Kwa AKMP. It's from Director Abna Jamina, your staff, Dr. Osion Labi Okapi, Daddy Pretty and Kwekwa Yat to you. Eshimelejikum Hiniminia in Siwi Wate. Amen. Wishing Caroline Aseda Esiedua happy birthday from Bobby Big Boss Teacher Mante. Amen. Brianna Ajoatiwa Owusu in Alexandria, Virginia, USA. Happy birthday to Brianna. It's from Nana Yao, Jada, Brendan, Brian, and Obrimpong and the entire family to you. Amen. It says a belated birthday wish to my son Daniel Intrijimfi. Daniel Intrijimfi of K. Billy Clare School in East Legon. Belated 12th birthday wishes to you from your dear mom Irama, your dad, and the entire family to you. Hope you had a good celebration. Another belated one to Alberta Annane of SNIT Data Department in Kofodia. And joy from the man Zaya to you. Amen. Mrs. Charlotte Backman Edunto, a.k.a. Kukwa. Enjoy your birthday, Mrs. Charlotte Backman Edunto. It's from your dear husband, Frank Edunto, Black Yao, Primi Kakra, and the entire United for Progress family. Best wishes to you. Anapa mi dikan ka se be carry mu hyen ho asem ne ne akeka ka ho nyina enti Captain Kwadwo Appel oye aviation safety inspector Doreen Safoba aviation safety inspector o fru plane ya odwen ho kwa kire se awiem te say hefo ne ye ho adwuma ebedin komo kakra bi Nana Kwame Asare Y, a.k.a. Nana Kwame Shasha of the GIJ, that's the Ghana Institute of Journalism. Happy birthday to you, Nana Kwame Shasha. It's from Mami Biama Kwafo to you. Bema Uswansa would like to wish Mimi Dia, NPP Deputy Women's Organizer. Happy birthday to you, Mimi. One to Evangelist Mrs. Perpetual Asantia Moa. And one to Mami Si Odun from Prince Bafwa Samoa. When you know in Simuye. Captain Macho.
Yeah, I'm there.
Nyamia dum boko na so e. Enti Captain Kwejo Apawa ha. Doreen. Mere kitwa. Boko there.
Adumo boko kwami.
Ye da nyamia se. Nyamia dum ade achi. Divine selection ti ye dwan num kakra.
Eno na ya make a divine selection.
Nyamia dum bi keke. Captain ewiem ye.
Ewiem boko.
Anse ne yakeka ka brofu bi se open event ebi ewiem bi hu. Mo na eja mo adwuma. Obi bisa se aviation safety and security ayade adia.
And say asana plane betu no. Actually enyuma bebre o ho no.
Okay.
Na say enyuma no na safety inspectors no yen no. And they say your more divisions bebre.
Yeah.
Your engineers, your pilots, your ground personnel. You won't cry, tis crom him. Internet man, you make sure say, and send a plane bit to never be safe. No two quite what could do about as we be.
Nipa bebre through your machine acquaint you.
Oh, and you,
Mom, we had you managed to see you. Nipa bebre through. Now, wow, Nimwe in Cransheben at the mom.
And Crashon say, me and me feel that Primu Tunacrano a safe as saying, so nam quasso. And if you bay, we had traffic, and they cast it at home. If we must enter, we may share, and my plane be on the level, quantity them. And you know, say, plane me in Bepim, or we would dear. And Tibida. You're very safe.
Safe from Sayana. Potholes na was through.
Potholes no dear. Yeah, na a weather no. To say thunderstorm crown. To say thunderstorm to no near dinner.
Saying you can see a bit to
Stana, na say, if you know it me, a fahon, do me fahon, na say, Silla, oh, for baby, a hoya cacra. A behoya cacran, na. Ma also
nipa ni bebre wo ha say onam form dia ohun form na onam soro dia ohun baby obeso nteji guguru now you maju hwi minimum bi abesi nne domestic flight on febida.
Oh, why
obetimi afan ne abro osro
se play bit fisro party ahwe very 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 rare. Music it be SC pen dear Ben no never bring a buy into a bassa but entire massa it will be in through Utram now was so and was so cunyon. Nothing that you in general so be
no cressa say bibianyo so ana same bebre
I said there will be as and yet etaba batenye enyo entinto
so be wo so kakra
but entinto
entinto but now you're anyway 80 aeroplane
yes
yenim na ne se atu na nam wiem na ekọ na esifom mo na mo ye ho adwuma obi be bisa se adian hihye na mo ye answer as you plane we be two be funny say passengers team crew e ka ho bibia da din san hihye na ebi ni den yes Doreen
yo Kwame share you will be bree you
okay
you want to say osha amai na no ye wo ko kese bi e friend International Civil Aviation Organization Ghana ye ka ho omo de emrani nhihye bebre ebreyen e ma oman bia o ka ho bia no so no ofasa na o de akọ ne mrahye bedwam omo aye ho saa emra no eba so a e wo se ye di so nti ye nom se ayete ha ene aye aviation safety inspectors no ye na ye hwe e masa emra na ya hyehye no omo bedi so pepepe nti omo ka wiemhyen omo ye from say flight crew no flight attendants pilots ni ade na omo training ni ade ye mfa ni agro.
Okay.
In fact, in aviation industry, you can say, untumi unye dwuma bi a yen training say yeah.
Okay.
Because against the law. Into ye hwe ema obia trained e wade no ye no even captain wahe obeka plane na obia ke bia no ye training wo ho. You are type rated na ode ka ade no. Na wo hwe muso a passenger wo kotenem kura na say ohun se nia ye be ma safety instructions
yeah.
Bi ni a wetimi aye. Equipment what plane no mu ne bibia no ye wo ne mu eniama enkofo a omo hwe se ne mu ina aye engineers no omo di bibia toto pepepe na safety aviation safety inspectors no ya check it se bibia so eda na kwem nti no sanhyehyɛ ina no na se nipa no kra wo kwa akofa plane na wa akɔ no kra no ye wo mra aye no ne security afa no se wo baga ebe ya obi emfa ne nsanka wo kofa plane no kra no ye behwe se wo documents ni ade na ye pepepe ansa na wafu plane no wo kotene mu so a aya na ye wo security e wo plane no ebi mu nim saapo
sir
me patchwan nti no aya ye nka nti no ebi kura ni nti aya wo tene mu a obi wo kotene mu ana wada ne nu so bete no because when him so anyo obekwa kodura so ndwem se na captain ka no de so obeti ato de emma so esan se won hyehyɛ bebre ne mra bebre ayedi so nti aviation safety inspectors ne ye ade bi eda yakoma ho se ye hyehyɛ bibia ye hwɛ mo bia eye na adwuma ne pepepepepe se ne be ya se plane no etu na afa wiem akwa koduru no bibia da yi.
Okay, bro, for be type rated nti plane no yen kan se car se minim car ba ko ka metimi aka ni nyina captain.
Oh, Debbie.
Enti sa
kra.
Enti se me de Toyota a Camry ne static car. Mechanics near the same. Enti me ko ka Benz America, me ko ka VW America, me ko ka hwan America. Land Cruiser the same mechanics. Na modern enti sa.
Ka modern no kre. Every month no no kra kakra bi. And say plane bia wo engines, wo wings. But unya wremu a cockpit no instruments no company bia de sesa kakra.
Okay.
Say AC design no enti no say if you say nima ye fast say emergency bar a very fast reaction say fast enti no yesua mmre items no yesua no such say BBC a nya afi na wo badwen ho no aye enti no tablet ni kire say wo de Boeing na wo ye Boeing.
Okay.
Man kwaka Boeing na kwaka Airbus.
Esan senso so nti wo ka Airbus iso kusua se ne ye no.
Ukosua no so ne de answer.
Ene afa no. Okay, type rating na mi hu ba se nyamete asia na se wudie nie nti we na wo de ko. Na type rating no mo yes am adwuma nyina pilot bi wo ha do you see from a said that obi so tibi do hwe from pati kim say hey they are some krani na mo na ka wiem hye we say plan bi wo ha say see from a say we dey koyie kane no ya yetimi full Ghana we see bi kwane bonsem ama pilot is here and nemre mu ko bi say o kai Captain Spencer,
yes,
Captain Dokanu,
yes,
Captain Poma, yes, Captain Hwan na mu bubodi nko Captain Bruce Tego ne aboboko say
empanyifo na di anim no
full Ghana is those o titi empanyifo din your boy bon say na say mo hwihwe beti na say dia say ebi wo ho sai bi e fine ebi TBC from fine ebi so ho there say kim say akwebeku nipa e ba na ba na sa
ejina ne ma bebre so.
Okay,
play ne besi for mo and from ano say if you benkum, if you nifa, if you anim, if you achi nyina ye wo ho limits
e from ma e bo fam ho nyina e ka ho sa play ne besi for
na bi nso na nsuo to nsuo to e fama yeto enti no fama yeto no sa wontimi mfa mesi ho boko sa sa nsuo tare rawo no so a e bitimi ama play no ask the akọ enchen enti so this from team AFM se ne be ya bitimi aka tarmac no na chi na otimi a break
na say yeah you were idiot yenim na plane boy sifa mom bo aponchi break pa o no bia inte no then speed no when calculation when here there yeah passengers yenim no nyamo be che na ebe boan na yenya nkranhye ewo awiemhyem
okay and it say runway no anasa kwan yesisu no ebi etia ebi nso wa okoti se sonya ne say na etia enti no say pilot no land pe so obo aponchi break no
aha
because wa ma aponchi break na ontimi nyina na onare ne ho Kumasi medium enti no wonta mo aponchi break Kumasi enkra say wa enti no me nyine say obi abo aponchi break no bi wo enkran bia opese o ofisu ntemu bia na plebid na chi na say o branch off ntemu dia ene bobo aponchi break no na o dia fisu wani nyina nye hu
safe
yes
ni abobo obi si me mo captain Fosudin me ame bra panyi captain Fosu captain be bia wa no pe bia me chia na me nua ye friend dan Kwaku ye boa na so usro play mu chin na ye be chew na nyame adom se so 32 kwan so be si nne Kwaku wa bi sa wasem
agwami se plane dia nkukwa
enkukwa na sa wakọ kata balance ya
nkọ kata
atia ma oye mashi wa osi matrem bida timudi nko ma yedi na miti se utwop boni so ni na unso bi ne yire kwa no wate waso egia na utwop boni so
itu wate da utie
well nkranhye de omo de hye ba se beye ni ebenya kokodru biko kwa mi mimum de mi no ya adwini se card ye se kopim dua ohun sa de kopim dua no we nyam yam fefia timi de mi fu na e wo so sa na ni ma ko hye cockpit nye cockpit toilet ni aya ni se mi ko ye mi hu ye na mi hye na mi to ya saponyum se de akodu e ba ba fefia
na Kwaku akwantu bebrebe still
come plane yankukwa wala se mini akwa bi ko Zambia no no pe no ye black wo flight ni mini ni di nkomo afedi ye sevia no waji wan ye sevia no waji wan afi mi hwa ko ya da mini obi an ni nkomo ye si na so na ye di nkomo 5 post hwe mi misuro nti me brother wo nkomo
but ye kasro no captain ene Doreen Ghana ha yen shedante riemuhyen asemu bia ha adwene Doreen Mikai se bia nche bia se mekaya starbobi esi forma problem kakra bae answer na no se mekaya me say 2000 military na friends ABB Airlink and the Mikai pa the area hobi bre bae mem answer na mekaya ache na miswa yetse plane bi ahye ewo tamak no so ache yen shedante sansem na ewo yememu Ghana ha obi bisa eyedien hihye na manaba ne saa ana nyame na edo yendodo
eno ka hu
inti eyedien na manaba ne saa
yo yehwe a nhihye de o hwe se ne wa wokin o hwe accident efa wiemhye ho a Ghana ha yentante baako ye de yame ase nanso no nipa da se ni so ye de niam bi enhihye bi wo ho e wo se ye de to ho a ebeboa ya yese ne emra no be ye se mfie dunie o hwemu a yenya be ye anan
okay
ni na no so no ebi wo ho a na nhye de nye se bi a ye san okay kan sa say science to say senior captain kai say nsu ato no sa no ye won hihye wo ho a say nsu to a ye betimi ama nsu no kura no ye mam ebe free runway ne so ntem na nso no bia na eto emre a plane no esi from no ano
yeah
ban hihye ne de ye nia ye frɛ no proactive entina ho ma asɛm no nsi ansa na nti sɛ bibia sida tete na ya tena ho adwen ho na ye de nhihye bi ato ho a be ma sai san no ensan ensi nti wo behwe mu a yamfa sɛ ahe a ye we nso bi fom na sa ye tora yɛbɛka sɛ bia nhyehyɛ ne sɛ every minute biara no obi mpepa ho sɛ nsuo egu ho sɛ nsuo ngu ho pepa so nti sɛ ne yɛbɛyɛ a sɛ nsuo egu hɔ deɛ ɔbɛpepa ɛno no ɛkyerɛ ɔman ne sɛ nipa sɛ oh aha deɛ megye di sɛ yɛapepa minute biara yɛpepa nti mekɔfa hɔ a ɔhɔ yɛ nti saa nhyehyɛ ne bi saa preventive measures no and mitigate ebi risk ni bi also a ɛwɔ hɔ but you mitigate on de nhyehyɛ bi bɛto a ɛbɛ brain ase sɛ ne ɛbɛyɛ ne ho nsonson ho no ɛnyɛ kɛseɛ.
I think that Mokape say flying is the safest form of transport because I'm trying to say Asemba I'm out for a corner super. So what they be an come so flying is the safest. Flying is the safest.
Bas kwabro chirango bi amfu plane.
Osha statistics e wo ho na. Eyo no kre. No kre, hwe ofa Ghana ha. Accidents esi e wo kwan so.
Yeah. They be a ka wasem.
Thousands of accidents. Ewiem hye ahe na wate.
Anyway,
the aerodynamics what we am saying say new to no. Osha engine no ne inframa airbo calculations aye any ade na bibia ni ho a ebe maka say ewiem hyen be hwe fom ana say bibi besi age say na make say bia esan bi na esi accident aye ye kan e wo wiem eno so e wo fom kra ohwe accident kwan so hwe nipa ya ho ahunti
okay
it ohwe nipa ho oh we ma we kwan na de abom eso ho ensi sa
ensi
nti ya fe ni human factors no eno kra no nti e ma accident esi wo ewiem ne eno so
na mo manye smooth kakrai
smooth ni de
eno ani asem no
clouds no
eno ani asem no mo manye smooth kakrai
frama no ewiem de sem frama na
captain sa frama na mo kan yen nimo me de nyame adom me nanfo mienu eno mo che me trase omo ye pilots no mo cheche mi mu a omo che mi mu ye me si amate ase but still inchi say bia enframa e free form so obi di plane be see form enframa e free form kwa hia no kra itimi ma no wo so
kono
enframa hia no say cloud bi wo ho a itiboma me say na we nyina yinimo so still a utimu a feeling is different
and no kre entina na captain kan o de so obi nsa
dai na nipa mi so ni so nsusu me kan mri bi efrikuma se ba na nsuo to eto kese pa na we say nsuo to apply mu tranye de
and no kre
you be do instead of say 30 minutes you be doing crane almost 50 minutes na be do or if not more but captain de ekofa eposo ekofa osu kwaku sa da utima nka obesu
eposu se eje gungura no we ja tuma
but unim the interesting thing oba so low enti yekofa osu castle enti ne ehu castle no mu kwaku no de ye ba ya no de ye be fa elwak enti hwe but oboy
no doje wada
enti de ye be fa elwak enti ye wosre yehu go post nyina o necessarily into the AC forms is here handy. But somehow he gave us a smoother flight. I know chichi muche and so fast our normal adenta hono be see from East Lagos Hondia also on the doors. Fine, we appreciated it. But if you see any some crying na
okay you go Kevin alcohol friendly match via government the supporters echo support na omufa World Cup qualifier mufa match de demu na aka ho na omukọ du airport o ma hihye omu ne omu si they be playing for to omu nti omu ntwanyansa omu hwehye fichire omu omu si yenko ko du takra de obi omu so de bi omu nsa ba no mba fix bibi omu fichire wi omu wi na omu si omu nsa nkwa amagire de hwehwe wi omu hye yenso hwe o
But quickly, Captain Edorin Anthony Bekono, Obibisa, Yesimo Group be Aviation Safety Inspectors Association of Ghana. And no, you're then I'm here, then a Bemina Bois, a Yimsha Quentio. Yes, Dorin.
Aviation Safety Inspectors Association of Ghana, I friend a credit here, a friend of AFSIAG. Yes, say a boom. Minor ate say ye wo na dwumedia ye di ne say ye keka ye hu bom ama say nka first no na ye wo ye na ye aviation safety inspectors I wo different sections na so sa nka bom kuo no eni ho nti ye ka bom say be ye kuo no na ama sa nhihye ne ye wo na say bia ye beka say ye so ye mra ne nhihye wo ho ya attitude integrity working together na ye dey achieve on ye aim no ye betimi aye amana twi na ya na
do that to say better
say na ye be ya ni na ye be promote ye be promote no na akwantuo no aye safe ye ka bom so a say na ye be ya amama ya ye wo ina na ye tumi hia ye ho na say issues problems challenges business ye wa bia na obi enya ho solution bi into no ye ka ye tiri bom na obi etumi de ne dia ba na yesu yakọ hwese o nya nipa kun ye ka ye bia aye adwuma ama no nti yesu ye hwa ebe ye adwuma ama ya na esan say adwuma ne ye di no ye ka ne say no country left behind into no obi a no ye che knowledge no obi awo ye che ye mfa nhye ye ho esan say me no me wo Ghana ha na say me airspace no ye safe but me call the next airspace na so ho ye safer na say ye mwa akwentufo
okay
nti na wo so bia de epe nti na ma ye che ye knowledge a ye wo no nti ye kan ye tiri bom na ya hwese ne ye be ya ye betimi a che sa knowledge ne ye wo no na ma wiemhyen akwentuo no akoyie
ade a ewiase afa na nyina anase mo na mo wo pidum Ghana ha enti mo affiliation bi mo ne kinketa hodie bi enti say ye Ghana aviation industry beka say adwumayefo na wo ho no monim de ne wiase de nyina ayepe
me patro de bi in fact wo hwa Africa ha ye de wenim papa Africa the whole Africa no Ghana and last year say 2019 na ye audit bi no ye nyedi kan
okay
enti ye de wenim pa.
Obviously, please remember Captain Ajari, the first black man pilot from Kwaunkwetia. I'm see you.
He's in the first pilot, no correct. British time, you know.
The first Ghanaian pilot.
First Ghanaian pilot. In fact, first West African.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, some man BOS in Ohono.
British Overseas Service Corporation. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, sir, where the kind I. Hey, and Mama, we are say Abesinko. And the Susan, no mommy bone with dinner near any moment.
Me patro ye be na ye kra Saturday.
Oka Ajari senior no.
Senior.
Oh, penny pan. Aye.
Oh, penny no.
Oh, junior so. Oh, nyame fa ne crancy.
Amen.
Kwaku ne ni me mema pa.
Na o twi play now. Omo ye dem wusem from aboni wo omo anim na omo na so kire ye.
Bisa captain na me obisa me.
Say from
Say bi omo ka say we are about to experience a turbulence. Omo ye dem.
Say na during the church mo no. Edman e wo forecast dispatchers, e wo engineers, e wo pilot into no. Dispatchers no omo na ehwe weather no. Na omo my palace information international crowd mo fa play no no ga chire we say if you akosi London no weather wa ha we wa ha nti wonso na wo kwa weather radar so we yanim yes you hwe my hu bebe wo nti na se na o kan it me dodge bi no that's right
nti adwumayefo bi so wo from aviation meteorologist omo my information ya de adwuma ne de different wo de ne se wakotena plane mo hu pilot na oka flight attendant ono hwe wo ma aduane ne ade
aviation metrofo no mo ya de chin e form metrofo no mo ka se attendant to we am go
but omo aso na aviation de no
information
we wa mu se wiem hye de na mfeli but
Ref is saying your mechanical of a wiem shendian and one editors as usual.
That's right, it's true.
So if you plane in most cases, you can say you experience turbulence. Bampa. No, but Ghana tender storm over to she.
Because short term means
But Obi say flying is the safest mode of transport because the level of training of personnel and regulatory measures are solid. I wish driving regulations can be enforced a little more. Interesting. Kwame, let's do another check. Captain Sam was the first commercial pilot. Say thank you for sharing your thoughts. We live and learn every day. Now, Captain, it is a plane qual ubi done. I don't know.
Plane qual could be done. Oh, they be any sir. If you say from a plane, no, yeah, pressurizing.
No, some say a pressurized cabin.
It's never be comfortable. It you know, it's a balloon. Na the pania womb. She's will be done as an
let's just say asama ba what kunipa.
You know, we mount me we door no cry because door no a war a
what thing.
Can it be one? Say pressurize there will be any.
Okay.
no say no bebo.
Because I told her who be your T exit to honor I can win.
I say be sorry so no during then abakade trato.
Yo, me pacho, yeah, Association of Aviation Safety Inspectors Association of Ghana, AFSIA, yeah, relaunch, Echina, 8th of December, Echina, 10 a.m. Anopa sharp. Na yedi ye tre or minus say you hold that now so no. I senya yajo, yenjo yesa. Inti ye pese ye tre omo say ye gusu wo ho. Na ya mankranhye say omo tena plane mu omo koba airport or plane na kase mu no bebi omo kwa koduri na no se ne ye wo hane saa na ebi mu so bebi abroche bebi no omo yem nhihye omo ye adwuma pepepe se ne abanya mayen yitumi no ye de ye adwuma no ye adwuma so ebema omo yem ato omo kwaku oyem beto say yenye wo ho no aviation safety inspectors wo ho ne de bibia dadin ewo wiemhyen adwuma no nti e china mpacho ye relaunch no
ane kwakuko bi
civil aviation headquarters new one no ewo airport ne pacho Kokrokoo International Airport
yeah Captain
the airport in this wa pilots in the omuyade
airport is from Kakrao Kwaku
yeah
is there a pilot airport for power
sir
Brana me from around
airport in your bad sao so call other African countries I won't say you na so
Liberia dey I say me crazy
Uko bi dey na won't say me mo hu abumfia sa na yenche da anye bad sa we could be better but we are not that bad
Mali Liberia we say yakoye
Captain then abeka dey try to am
na during kan na me pese mu hu se adwuma na inspectors ye no e bi na nansen se mo kai a Delta na ngo ba ha plane on the bagana no na maybe mo to fee New York
yes
bibi say mo musa ngachi koy and so mba bio the same plane no de ba no bibi say man no omo ko si bia so bedu Ghana inspectors ye kokohwe
okay
check bibia na say omo fa plane magana bio
yeah
and no ni nyina for safety no adwuma na ye inspectors no ni nyina ka ho ye no it's na be ya obi etukwan a na okodu asumdwe mu
Moka aviation inspectors me nua ba ko kam ho Ben Owusu Crowley.
Crowley.
Benjamin Owusu Crowley. Crowley, who ache baby I will be no pay me chia. Yeah, aviation Crowley, we need to obon come kind of person aviation. I'm to master. Me no one go school no. Or so you any say with mouth. We na go ti me chia Ben Owusu Crowley baby I will be no pay chia.
Me patrol me you patrol ma me ho so we so ma me chere me ade wo Sunday school
yeah so they ampa mum say soldier pikin go soldier pikin ma ku ni si yo soldier pikin pa osaso am yere ketwa e wi asi so
said me primary school na yes ni
oh Debbie
services
some services for mumu ya dada bafo Say ye pa ya ye cool soldier for school. Garrison forces. Bema camp. Services for the home car and home for better visa. Well, we are that for crime. And to my pilot friends, Captain Bruce Tego, Captain Ivan Nete, Kwesi Forsen, Achilles Dumashi, and all of you guys, Charlie, and they are Bamudium. Into your school kakra. I bet you my Jumasi. Doreen, yeah, that's an pay.
Yes, yeah, that's Kwame.
Captain, Utrin Kwaya Dasi.
Yes, yeah, Dasi.
Captain Kwejo Apao, Aviation Safety Inspector. Doreen Safo Ba, Aviation Safety Inspector. No pay. Professor Godfrey Bokpeng is a professor of finance, University of Ghana Business School. Good morning, Prof.
Yes, good morning, boss, and good morning to your cherished listeners.
Thank you for your time again.
Thank you.
The other day, you took us to school. We are back in class again today. Prof, let me just start from basics. Help us a bit. Yesterday, we received news that Parliament had approved the 2023 budget. From where you sit, what does this mean?
It's an important first step
Okay.
towards rebuilding, even though there are certain provisions in the budget that we felt that Parliament could have taken another look.
Okay.
Given all that is happening, that the country is living on the edge, I think we all collectively have to make some compromises, some adjustments, so that we can come out of this together and come out of it stronger than before. So we will say that it's an important first step. But my considered view is that even though the 2023 budget has been passed,
Yes.
there will still be the need for some level of fiscal adjustment that will be necessary in moving us closer to greater economic recovery. When I say so, my reason is that if you look at where our debt level is, the level of economic deterioration, the fiscal adjustment in the 2023 budget is just too small. And it's also heavy on the revenue side and small on the expenditure side. And that is why the 2023 budget is only contributing overall just 0.7% of primary surplus towards our debt reduction. Meanwhile, we need a primary surplus of not less than 8%, right, in the next 4 years in order to bring our debt to a more sustainable level. What that means is that the level of fiscal adjustment that will have to be made will be so steep, and therefore we need to look beyond fiscal adjustment. Fiscal adjustment essentially is about your expenditure and revenue and the financing mix. Now, if we have to load all the adjustment on the fiscal side, this country will explode. We cannot bear it. And that is why the next level is debt operation. Okay. So, but we had expected that the fiscal side will do a little bit more, especially in terms of expenditure cuts, right? But the 2023 budget failed to deliver on that. Now, a good way to understand that is this. So when we talk about burden sharing, one would expect that leadership will lead by example.
Yeah.
And you first internalize the austerity to demonstrate to the market that, you know what, I understand where we are. I am willing to pay that price. Come along. But you see that the 2023 budget doesn't do enough of that. And that is why, in order to crawl back to a sustainable debt level, the debt operation will now have to be steep. Okay, will now have to be steep. And that is what that tells you is that the state is actually shifting the burden of the debt and the macroeconomic instability to the citizens and the private sector. So the state, in terms of the government, is not doing enough. And that is where the pain is coming from. Now, that said, where we are, whether we like it or not, to come out of this, some level of sacrifices would have to be made. We don't have a choice now. Now, Ghana, we only have one hope. Let me put it this way. We have exhausted all our internal mechanisms. We only have an IMF program to hang on. One key requirement for the program is debt sustainability. Now it is official that Ghana's debt, after the debt sustainability analysis, has been confirmed to be unsustainable. Typically, an IMF would not lend to a country where their debt is unsustainable. So what that means is that you now have to take steps to bring your debt to a more sustainable level. That is going to be painful. Now, if you are doing the modeling, you are looking at it that, okay, if if you look at it along the debt sustainability indicators,
Yes.
we are trending above all the policy dependency thresholds. So, for instance, if we say your debt service to revenue ratio, which is a measure of liquidity, should not be more than, let's say, 20% or even 18% in terms of the external component, we are doing in excess of 50%. We are doing in excess of 60%. So look at that gap. It's wide. Now, if we are talking about present value of debt to, let's say, GDP ratio, we are trending in excess of 30% of the policy dependency threshold. If you take present value of debt to export ratio, again, we are trending in excess of 25% above the policy dependency threshold at the baseline estimation. Okay, the end of all that I'm saying is that we have drifted from the baseline, and you need to crawl back. So if we relate what is happening now to the 16th IMF program that we had from April 3rd, 2015 to 2019, we were doing a primary surplus of about 1.5% on the average. Now, if we decide to do a similar one here, then it means that in the next 4 to 5 years, we can only bring our debt to GDP ratio to about 90%, which will still be above the threshold. As a medium debt-carrying country, in terms of our debt-carrying capacity, probably our debt to GDP ratio should not be more than 65%, assuming we even have some kind of buffer and say 70%. So if 1.5% could only deliver 90% of debt to GDP ratio in the next 5 years, what it means is that we still need to do some level of adjustment. That is why, from the perspective of the government, the next option is debt operation. Call it debt swap, call it restructuring, call it debt exchange. The bottom line is that some adjustment needs to be made to Ghana's debt because it's unsustainable.
I see.
In principle,
Yes.
the financial system is the ultimate residual risk claimant of a public debt overhang. So what that tells us is that how the state manages its affairs, especially its debt, has implication for the overall public sector balance sheet and has implication for financial sector stability. Now, I'm assuming we don't even do the debt restructuring, which will be extreme. The volatility in the market induced by the public debt overhang, if financial institutions decide to mark to market government financial instruments in their books, it will translate to losses. For some of the banks, under current scenario, may be required to bring additional capital under Basel II risk-based capital prescription. That is even before you think about any debt operation that you want to do in the system. But where we are now, the bit that we are uncomfortable is the approach government is using in managing all of this, which appears like trying to trick the market, trying to surprise the market.
Mm-hmm.
I think what government needs to, we know that Ghana is in a deep crisis. In fact, in economics, if there was any word beyond crisis, that's what we'll be using right now. But we all do acknowledge that we have to come out of this. And to do so, broader consultation, the humility to acknowledge where we have gone wrong and where we can do better, that brings everybody to the table, is very critical right now. Okay, because one option that we had considered was where government was going to impose the debt operation in the system through an executive order or whatever. That would be difficult. Now, where we are, we need negotiation. To do so, you have to come to the negotiation table with some level of moral authority, which means that this is what we have done to ourselves. This is the level of adjustment we are absorbing ourselves. Failure to do that is going to be difficult for us to get out of this. But we must, because the IMF is in town. We want IMF money, IMF program. We have to do what lies within our hand to do so we can have a program. What is likely, and I'm hoping and I'm highly confident, is that we can reach a staff level agreement by the end of this year. That is not a program.
Okay.
That's not a program. It is. So when your debt is judged to be unsustainable, the first level or first major breakthrough will be a staff level agreement. Largely, it's not a program. But on the basis of that, you can then engage with investors, creditors. So if some level of understanding is reached, that will now form a basis together with the staff level agreement for it to go to the IMF Executive Board. It is only when the IMF Executive Board approves, then it becomes a program. And then we move on from there. So that is where we are right now.
But as you said, Parliament approving the budget is a first major step, quoting your own words. Now that we've moved from that, I'm quoting the front page of this morning's edition of the Graphic, where it says that ISE, that is the Institute for Social, Statistical and Economic Research, says we need to build consensus on debt program. And it mentions Parliament, CSOs, the citizenry and all of that. Do you buy into that argument? Because listening to you, it's as if all hands on deck kind of thing is what you're talking about.
Yes, that's the way to go. Consensus building is the way to go.
But Prof, consensus building also involves a lot of trust both ways. Do you think that we have that amongst us right now?
We don't. You know, earlier when the market was asking for the resignation of the finance minister and a whole lot of other things, it's all part of it. It makes it a bit, I don't know how to put it, but it's a bit uncomfortable, the approach government has adopted. I know it all and all of that, yes. But to get to the next level, you will need major stakeholders. If you look at the debt operation, it's going to affect institutional investors. Even if you say households are exempted, the banks took the deposit from Ghanaians.
Yes.
So there will be some kind of impact in the system. So what we need, and to do that broader consultation you were referring to, requires honesty and transparency. I think in the last 2.5 years or so, largely, the government hasn't been transparent. The government hasn't been forthright. There's been so many U-turns, which it's difficult to quantify right now, but all of these are not helping. Okay, all of these are not helping. But I want to believe that where we are getting to, some level of concession would have to be made. Government would have to be humble enough to engage the broad sectors of our economy, whether we like it or not. We need to do that, and I think government needs to lead by example. Time is not on our side.
Time is not on our side. Let me pick your thoughts. For those of us who don't understand, what exactly is debt restructuring in a few words, and why has it received such a pushback from the labor unions, from, all of them? What exactly is the issue?
Okay, so debt restructuring, debt operation, debt swap, debt exchange, and all debt treatment, so essentially saying that government has been borrowing. And government has borrowed to the point where its balance sheet could no longer sustain that debt.
Okay.
So what government is asking is that, I have borrowed to the point where I cannot sustain it. It's suffocating us. I want to restructure it. I want to tamper with the terms of the existing debt in a way that makes it a bit comfortable for me to be able to pay and also do other important things, developmental things, build roads, pay salaries, and so many other things. So that will mean that the current terms of the debt would have to be tampered with. And it could take various forms. What government has announced right now is a debt exchange. In other words, they are going to issue a new debt in exchange for the old debt. A new debt with different features.
It is still debt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still debt. As for borrowing, we will continue to borrow for the foreseeable future. We can't do without borrowing. Look, but
Yes, sir.
borrowing itself is not a sin. It's not wrong.
Is not?
It's not. In fact, the whole financial sector, banking sector, thrives on borrowing. Okay, but what we have seen in our part of the world is that we borrow, but we are not efficient in how we invest those borrowed funds. Because typically, if we want to construct roads, we may not be able to generate the tax revenue before we'll be able to do the road. So we can borrow to do that. There are so many other things. In fact, firms do that. In fact, there's conventional wisdom in taking somebody's money, invest it in your business, make profit, go and pay the interest and the principal and pocket the rest. It's done all over the world. It's done. Our problem is that when we have taken the loan, we don't invest them in enhancing the cash flow generation capacity of the economy.
But Prof, experts in finance abound. Experts in investment abound. People like you are all over the place. Didn't we see this coming?
Oh, we saw this coming long ago.
And what did we do?
The warnings were there. In fact, that is a bit that also surprises some of us. Why it took us so long to make the call to the IRS. From the second half of last year, it was very clear that Ghana was heading dangerously. In the third quarter of last year, the Ministry of Finance was actually in the market trying to borrow again. And the market rejected them because the fundamentals were deteriorating. We were hoping that the 2022 budget that was presented in November last year would have made a stronger fiscal adjustment and a statement and possibly a call to the IMF. When government failed to do that, and we said that, okay, we will muddle through. That was government's approach, essentially. We will muddle through. In other words, if we survive, fine, whatever. And that was risky. Okay, and that is why probably, I don't know how to put it, but it was very clear that the way we're going, we probably head to the IMF in an ambulance. Because the data was very clear. You could predict, look, modeling is not complicated, so to speak. In 2014, hello?
Yes,
in
I'm here.
2014, if you remember, our current vice president, when he was in opposition, using similar models, could predict that the government would check in at the IMF before the year 2014 would end.
So why didn't they do it this time?
That's the issue. That's the issue. You know, let me put it this way, forgive me.
Yes.
It got to a point, we got the impression that we were managing this economy as though we didn't have to take any effort from us to change what was happening, and that some imaginary economy miracle will happen somewhere and just replace the current economy. It doesn't happen that way. It takes effort, hard work, sacrifice, and that is why that delay is what has caused this. Okay, and this is not to sound like a prophet of doom or something. You know something? Where we are right now, to come out of this, it will take certain painful adjustments. And the level of adjustment we are willing to tolerate would also influence how soon we get out of this. Based on our explanation, we are looking at the next 10 years.
Next what?
The next 10 years.
That's gloomy.
It's not to make anybody sad or something, but a lot depends on what we do now. And what makes that a bit sad is that government is not demonstrating that we are living on the edge and we need to do something. Look, boss, there are some things you do, not that it will dry the sea, but for signal purposes, you need to press those buttons. You need to press those buttons. And that is why stakeholders are pushing back, because the government is not doing its part of the burden sharing.
You mean the optics are not good?
Pardon?
You mean the optics are not good?
No, they are not. There is a lot that we have to do. And I'm saying this also within the context of the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about one big market today. So if you look at what other countries are doing,
yes,
and you look at what Ghana is doing and what we are going through, it undermines private sector competitiveness as we go deeper into the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade. I'll give you an example. All these fiscal adjustments, fiscal consolidation, debt operation, the end game is that something will have to give. What will give will be growth. And that is why government itself in the 2023 budget is forecasting a lower growth than 2022. We are hoping to grow 2023 by 2.8%. It's the lowest in West Africa by forecast. It's the lowest. In fact, it's below the average. Okay, whilst Cote d'Ivoire and others are doing 6.5, and the rest, Ghana is going to do 2.8%. Why we should all be concerned is that this will also have implications for job creation. Now, in the next 10 years that we are looking at, and that is why if you look at the debt proposal that the government has put forward, the sum principal will be paid in the next 10 years. That's when some will be paid.
I see.
In the next 10 years, but in fact, by 2040, Ghana's population will reach 45 million. By 2040. By 2040, 58% of Ghana's population will be less than 30 years. From now to 2040, Ghana needs to create 10 million decent jobs, particularly in the formal wage economy. Now, so if you have this outlook, and you look at what we have to do right now, the trade-offs that we have to give up growth, job creation, you have to be concerned for Ghana. Because if 58% of your population will be less than 30 years, those will be the most economically active age group, and they will be looking for jobs. That's worrying. As we speak right now, approximately 14 million Ghanaians are multidimensionally poor. 14 million Ghanaians. If you use the new international poverty line, more than 50% of Ghana's population are poor. As we speak right now, in fact, close to more than 13 million Ghanaians are food insecure.
But Prof, in spite of the seeming gloom and doom, should we be hopeful?
We have to be hopeful.
And is that hope predicated on some substance, or is it just empty hope? No,
it doesn't. It's not empty hope. We are at the point where we all have to come on board. Okay, trade off our political affiliations and seek the common good. And I'm also hopeful to the extent that now we have seen that the abuse of tax revenue is not enough. They are attacking people's investment now. The very fabric of our society, the middle class. So part of our problem over the years has been the missing middle. The middle class that felt they were comfortable, anything that happens, no problem. Now we've seen that comfort zone is being tampered with. So we all have to come on board and shape our governance for the common good. Why am I saying so? And boss, take it this way. Under current circumstances, an IMF program is not enough.
Peace FM.
An IMF program is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not think that merely having an IMF program, we are out of this. No. What Ghana needs to do urgently is to be able to initiate certain governance reforms and productivity enhancing reforms that we can pursue along the IMF program. Because reforms are more effective if they are bundled together or when they reinforce each other. There will be certain kind of reforms in the IMF program, but largely it will be economic.
I see.
But Ghana's governance architecture needs urgent reform. But this is what we are saying. Our democracy is too expensive.
Our democracy is too expensive.
It's too expensive. And the way we have commercialized and monetized our democracy, there is no way the democratic dividend will trickle down to the ordinary Ghanaian. No.
Food for thought, another subject for another day. I think that some of the takeaways from me is you just mentioned that an IMF program is not enough. And then also we need to trade off our political affiliation and seek the common good. And that we should still be hopeful. Well, we'll try under the circumstances. Prof, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bless you back. I appreciate. Professor Godfred Alufa Bokpeng, Professor of Finance, University of Ghana Business School. Peace 104.3. Okay, kwa kuya bwana na mimi ndio. Na kwa kwa napoji na
Ghana's joyful noise maker.
Yes, Kwaku.
A member of the Order of the Voter.
Mini Kwaku.